Hi and welcome to this live currency strength indicator table video with me, John, on this Friday the 17th of March. Here you can see we have our tables in front of us. We have two types of tables. These are the same studies, just highlighting different time frames. You can see here some of the currencies are highlighted in green. That means there is a confluence between these trading time frames, and that's where we'll be focusing some of our attention in these videos. The tables auto-update every 5 minutes 24/7, meaning that our members can see how the market stands right now in real time. Now, it's Friday. We've had quite a lot of volatility in the markets recently, and one thing that's really stood out for us this week in most of our trading sort of recaps and our sort of trading outlooks is the fact that the yen has remained strong, and you can see here on the trend traders is the strongest currency from the higher time frame point of view. It's also the third strongest on our day traders. Accompanying that on the weak side of things is the US dollar. So the US dollar is the third weakest currency and is the second weakest on our day traders. So it's telling us to look at dollar yen potentially for some further downside. Now, I actually traded dollar yen this morning, made about 60 pips on dollar yen on a couple of positions, actually going to the long side rather than the short side. So I'm going to break that down, that market. We're also going to have a little look at how our other markets have performed this week with our sort of outlooks. And like I said, we focus very heavily on yen. The reason I'm doing that is because I want to let you know that I use these tables to find my trading opportunities. Charles uses these tables to find his trading opportunities as well. So I want to let you know that this is how we do it, and hopefully it may help your decision making in your trading as well. But this is how we do it, and I'm going to show you how we do that. So dollar yen was featured this morning. I went and had a little look at dollar yen. Now, the reason why I chose to go long instead of short dollar yen was mainly because of the higher time frames, and I was looking at this daily time frame. Now, obviously the yen has been quite a volatile pair this week, especially against the other currencies, like we talked about, CAD yen downside, euro yen downside, and things like that. And those currency pairs moved quite a large way, whereas the dollar yen kind of stayed fairly range bound. You can see here, if I was to go to a weekly time frame, that weekly candlestick is going to just basically show us it's a bit bearish, but we've stuck around these previous structure highs. Daily gives us a little bit more context around that, so you can see we kind of had quite a sort of bearish Monday, but we had a bullish Tuesday, bearish Wednesday, bullish Thursday. So you can see that we've kind of ranged throughout that week there. So the way I was looking at this market last night was the fact that we had this bullish pin candle close on Thursday, and it was rejecting this previous high in around about the 132.75. So to me, that's an area of support. Now, if I wanted to be a seller of that market in particular, what I would typically wait for is price to do one or two things: either be at a previous high or see price trade through a support level to come down to the next support level. So the next support level is around about that 130.75 handle, and you can see that kind of runs all the way through here where you had that support, resistance, support, support. So if I was going to be a seller, I'd want to see that happen. The problem was we were at support. Okay, so when something's at support and we want to be a seller, you either want to stay away from it or see if you can maybe look at potential reversals. The reason why I did that was because I thought, well, if I want to be a seller, there's two areas I want, or two or three areas I want to sell from, and that is a lot higher up. So we've got this 135.50 handle in here where you can see we kind of consolidated as we kind of moved towards that 137.75 where we eventually saw that selling pressure come in. So it's either I want to be a seller here, or you can see I've pointed out the 135 level, which again has acted as resistance recently. So if I want to be a seller of that market, I either want to be going in around these areas to see if the selling will continue. So I looked at obviously the daily close. That to me was a strong suggestion that maybe price will move to the upside. Obviously, nothing's a guarantee. So I looked at the potential to go long. So if I just bring in my entry here, let me just bring it over on the other screen here. I just want to bring this in to show you so you'll be able to see it. Let's see if I can bring that forward. For some reason it's not showing up. Okay, here we go. So you can see here, this is my entry. So this area here was the 132.75 handle, okay. And then I was looking to see if price will trade up higher from that. I also got long around about the demand zone as well, which was around about the 133 handle, okay. So I was looking to see if the demand zone here would basically hold on a lower time frame. So I ended up going long here. That was a sort of a 40 pip run in total. I then went long here and took profits at the highs there. That's around a 20 pip total. So in total, of over the two trades, there was a 60 pip return there. We've then come into a resistance level. So if I just come back over to the analysis charts now, you can see that resistance level was just these previous highs. If I go down into a lower time frame, let's just go all the way down into the 15-minute. It was basically this area here. Okay, and the reason why I put a zone there was just because you can see like there was some minor selling coming in from that point. So I wanted to be out of longs at that point and maybe considered shorts at this point, but I just didn't take the other side of it. The reason being is because I'd already made 60 pips this morning, so I didn't really need to go back in again and be super aggressive, although obviously the tables are more favouring that downside move. The reason as well I kind of look for the reversals because it was a Friday. A lot of the times when we come to the end of the week, the moves that have happened earlier in the week can sort of reverse as well. So I just like the opportunity to the upside there. And basically on the 5-minute you can kind of see all this sort of price action down here. So basically this is where I took another position long around about this is a demand zone in here, and I took another position long there as well. So that was a really nice trade that played out this morning. Obviously we looked at other markets this week as well. Dollar yen suggesting that we look to the downside, but we are at support, so I'd wait to see how this pans out because we do have some more dollar data this afternoon. If price breaks above this daily high, I think we could move up to our areas of resistance, which is the 135 and the 135.50 from this 4-hour time frame. You can see as well we've got support down in here around about the 131.75, which was this previous low, which is where buyers have stepped in. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm actually going to go look at some other charts of interest. We did look at the potential this week for pound Aussie to continue to the upside, although we did also talk about a potential for it to pull back. Now you can see here we're at that key level of resistance, which was around about that one spot at 82.75. I believe it was, or 81.75. Let me just actually zoom out a little bit there so I can give you the sort of accurate there. So it was the one spot 82, sorry. And that level there did act as resistance in the end. We tried to close above it, but we just kept failing above that area. So in the video, what I wanted to see was price close above these highs. If it closed above these highs, I thought that would have given me an opportunity to trade higher. Instead, it didn't, so we talked about the potential for price to come back to the 1.8. So that's what I'm going to be waiting for now. If price can come back to the 1.8 and then pound Aussie appears on the tables, that's something we can consider looking at in the future. Our main sort of bread and butter winner this week was CAD yen. Was looking for shorts around about that 98 handle. Ended up taking shorts around 98. Had a ATR stop of 95 pips. Price rallied all the way to the downside. I banked half of my position at 200 pips. So that was a nice sort of return there. Stops are at break even now, and I'm going to see if price will continue to push to the downside. The only other chart that I'm really interested in at the moment was CAD Swiss. We talked about CAD Swiss in the videos coming into that major low at the 0.66 handle, and I did have a resting order here to see if price would come back, but I've cancelled that order now because price has just rallied up to the upside, so it's kind of gone from our area of interest. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to see if price maybe comes back, gives us that higher low, or maybe even a double bottom from a daily perspective, and then I'll come back to it to see if we do get that sort of monster trade that we're kind of looking or eyeing up at the moment, which would be sort of a move from this 0.66 up to the 0.7775. there. So hopefully you enjoyed all the content this week. If you did, that's great, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next video.